Okay, right.
Travel and Things, in association with Rugged Wear, Real People, Real Clothing, Real Solutions, presents In Conversation With. I'm your host, David Batsoffen, and my guest today is the inimitable Mark Banks. Mark, how are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Now, I know that lockdown has been long and hard for you, but you're bouncing back with a brand new show.
Bouncing back, that's a very, very good word. Blazing back was what somebody said the other day. And a welcome return, somebody said, who'd never ever seen me perform ever. So I don't know how they know it could be a welcome return. They were writing for a journal in Toronto. They'd been part of the truck convoy.
What do the Canadians know? They just know to say sorry. No, they just know to say sorry.
You would be amazed. Listen, don't write off the Canadians. They gave the world one thing that a lot of people cannot live without, especially in these hard, trying times now. Canada did give the world something we do all need: the anorak. And Christopher Plummer.
Oh, that too. And
yes, and Celine Dion.
And Howie Mandel.
And Howie Mandel.
All of the above.
And that's about it, I think. That's it.
And polar
we
bears.
learned about Canada at school, but I think I missed that lesson.
So tell me about the new show. Is called Mask About Face, I believe.
Mask About Face.
Yes.
Well, you know, the past 2 years have been absolute hell. All in the industry, not just for performers, but for everyone in the industry. All the allied forces, the stage management, the technicians, lighting, sound, makeup, masks, wigs, catering, the food, the ushers, the battery suppliers that supply batteries, torches of the ushers, the torch makers, the people who make the glass that goes into the end of a torch. The industry, it's just millions and millions of people who have had nothing to do for the past 2 years, which is just too horrifying, as we all know. Yeah. And I think people are now ready to laugh. I think people are now ready just to go out into the world and laugh. And they all say that the end of a big close down, of a big lockdown, going back thousands and thousands of years, that at the end of it, there's always huge celebrations and orgies and fountains stop working and free food and buffet tables and maybe the return of a restaurant or two to Melville. And maybe service at a restaurant in Melville.
Who knows? Now, I believe that the fair lady has described this show as I laughed until the cows came home. Did only the cows return? Did everybody else run away?
Everybody has returned. Everyone has returned. And funny enough, in times of trouble, the animals, they run away first. So a lot of our animals here, when they went into recess, when they wondered why they weren't being slaughtered and eaten, you know, they were still grazing. They thought, this is very strange, you know, hanging around for 2 years. Some of the cows were actually falling over. They were so grotesque. And of course, meat these days is a luxury product. So I'm taking a very, very tongue-in-cheek. Can I say that?
Yes, you may. Yes, you can.
Can I say tongue-in-cheek?
You can.
Look at present-day life and how we're getting around it, and hints and tips of living through the pandemic and how to readjust yourself to normal day life, and then a look at what's happened over the past 2 years. But a light-hearted look. It's not serious. You know, there's a lot of tragedy has gone with this.
But hang on a second, Mark. How can it be a light-hearted look when we've once again got load shedding that's looming large?
Yes. Well, this is why I'm talking. You can hear the generator in the background. And it's not electricity driven, the generator. It's actually paddled. I've got 6 people from the gymnasium that we have in the park down the road. It's one of the world's first. It's actually called, it's a gymnasium. It's an open air gymnasium. It's called Virgin Homeless. And a lot of homeless people, and not only homeless, a very, very big thing now, which is happening, especially in the northern suburbs, especially in the Santon, Bryanston area, with home invasions, the way they've been happening and taking place during lockdown. A lot of people who live in multi-million rand houses, at sunset, they take the family with sleeping bags and blankets and leave the house and go and sleep under a bridge nearby where it's much safer, so they can actually watch the house being attacked during the night, knowing that they're safe. You see,
Mark,
it's nature. It's Mother Nature just rebranding itself and thinking this is how we're going to get through this. Like elephants run. I saw elephants running one day just before the tsunami. I saw elephants running up a hill, which I couldn't believe. And it was only 2 days after I left Goa that the tsunami hit. And nobody could tell me why elephants were running. Hundreds of elephants. I didn't know there were that many elephants in Goa.
Well, now you do.
But I do know that there are no turkeys in Turkey. That's a fact.
Fair enough.
If I'm wrong.
I can't. I'll Google it quickly.
No,
how
there are
have
no
you
turkeys
prepared?
in Turkey.
How have you prepared?
I've been listening
for
to
this
people.
show?
I've been listening to what people talk about. People have had enough. People are absolutely saturated with the pandemic, sanitizing, with the masks, all the stories that you hear. You could make a 9-hour film. Yesterday's announcement that if you're COVID positive but you're not showing symptoms, then you can reduce your isolation time. If you think you have COVID and you are showing symptoms but you don't have it, then you don't need to have the vaccination. But you might, if you think that you have had it without getting the vaccination and you're COVID positive and now turn negative, you won't need that, because 2 positives, like poles, repel. So if you're COVID positive and then you become COVID negative, you will have fought that internal battle without even knowing if you have it or not. As long as you're sanitizing, wearing a mask, and not getting on a Saffair flight where you can sit knee to knee with 411 other people, but you can't get 40 people into a theatre. I don't understand it. There are parts of it that don't make any sense.
I don't think anybody does. A 2-part question for you, because I think I need to throw questions at you and then just let you run wild.
Yes.
The first question is, how have you prepared for this? And
Yes.
secondly, where is the show going to be?
The show's going to be at the Santon Theatre on the Square,
Right.
which is in Santon. It's the one thing that is in Santon, because you know the Santon Clinic is in Randburg. You do know that.
Santon adjacent.
No, Santon adjacent, David, and for your viewers, or for those without vision, listeners, Santon Clinic is in Randburg.
Okay.
I don't understand that. The Cape Town Fish Market is in Bryanston. It's inexplicable.
Who knew?
I think Pam Golding may have had something to do with that. No, that's Santon. No, isn't this Randburg? No, but it's got a lot of rooms. Yeah, well, it's a hospital. So I've been listening to what people talk about. I've been listening to what people are saying and people's takes on what they should and shouldn't do. I mean, I've got friends who have literally been in lockdown in a house a sealed house, and not gone out or had any contact with anyone for 2 years. That can't be very healthy. And that's when everyone just.
And as Mark leaves the stage, who knows what this man is going to be up to next? The production is on at the Santon Theatre at the Square.
Just held up there. There's a home invasion going on. They're just taking the rest of the software.
I was just saying while you were off camera that the production runs from the 3rd to the 13th of March at
Santon Theatre on the Square. It's
Yes.
all new material. I'm doing sketches. I'm bringing characters back. I used to do old review style format, because there are so many comedians now that you actually need a directory to see who is on. There are thousands of comedians who the comedians haven't been that hard hit by COVID, luckily to say. Not many have been struck by it.
So my question still stands. How have you prepared for this? I mean, not being
Well, I've been writing down ideas
for 2 years.
I've been writing down ideas. So that's quite a thick book. I'm on to my 3rd diary of ideas now. And of course, the news and events happen so quickly now that what you write on Monday is old news by Friday. Denmark's opened up, but Norway's closed. You can go to the Middle East, but you can go through the Middle East to get to Denmark, but you can't get to Denmark through the Middle East. And you can't go through Cape Town to there. But if you fly to Buenos Aires and then you go up to Vuanatu, you get the ferry from Vuanatu to Miami Airport. You can fly to London from there. UTA, the French airline, have a special on at the moment. You can fly from Joburg to Paris, return for 7,499 Rand. Isn't that incredible? I flew one way the other day admittedly, it was over a very busy weekend. I flew to Cape Town one way, 3,499 rand, because it was on a cycling weekend. There was a cycling weekend or a marathon. It was 3,499 rand. So the return was 7,800. If I'd gone with UTA, I could have flown Joburg, Paris, Cape Town for 200 rand less. You see, I wasn't using my cycle there.
You weren't indeed. You could have had a week, at least a few hours in Paris, if nothing else.
Yes,
or Paris.
Well, that's enough.
Yeah,
that's enough. Now in Paris, in the actual Paris.
Yes.
Paris, le bon fait Afrique du Sud, Paris, le bon vacation.
Omelette de fromage.
I did that for Carolyn. I put that in for Carolyn.
Thank you. I said omelette de fromage.
Omelette de fromage. You're looking very good, David. The way you're lit from the back there, it's got a sort of a
halo.
Almost, yes, it's halo.
Yes.
It's got a sort of an almost sort of biblical feel to it.
What can I say?
You could be reading you could be reading because I'm learning French at the moment.
Why?
This is my French book. Because I can. Because the other day I tried to learn Tonga, which is very difficult. I sometimes wish that I could speak more languages. So I've been brushing up on my languages. I've been playing Scrabble. I believe it or not, I did a jigsaw puzzle the other day. I couldn't believe how easy it was. And on the box, it said 1 to 2 years, and I did it in about 10 minutes.
That's marvelous. What can I say, Mark?
It is, isn't it?
You're a genius.
It is. So, and we need to laugh. People do want to laugh.
Oh,
People
for sure.
Are, been holding it in and having held the laughter McConnacles and David Pluffer Floodlums inside the external process of the diaphanous internal lung action by not laughing. Those have been rotting. You've got sort of internal bats that have been nesting in there. It's almost like a sort of a very bad miniature Kango cave that could be happening from, because laughter is the best medicine that you can get outside of knowing Adrian Gore from Discovery. When you have a
so if you're feeling
for your gap,
if you're feeling poorly, then you must use laughter rather than medication.
Yes, laughter induces the internal tears that go upwards. No one can explain them. It's something that makes you sad, makes the tears. I think I'm getting a bit too deep and philosophical here, David. I think a lot of viewers may have turned off by now. But if something sad can make your tears run down your wrinkled cheeks, laughter internally makes the tears go upwards. We don't know what those tears are. I think it's myofascial funnel fights or epidermal chromosomes, which reverses the process of sadness. So even if you're sad, and then you have those cries where you don't know if you're crying or laughing. You know, those people go,
yeah.
Are they crying or laughing? You don't want to ask them.
Is that what your audience can expect from you come the 3rd of March?
Yes, they can expect. They are guaranteed a laugh.
At least one.
111. We've been doing tests down in the Kalahari Trans-Kalarhari Desert at the moment. That's the test site for comedy in the comedy tunnel. We were using an indigenous Khoisan audience to test the show on, and they guffawed.
Wow.
With laughter.
Great stuff.
There's then 5 Germans, 1 American TV interviewer for a French-Canadian, I think it was a front for a diamond smuggling company, a bit of IDB going on there, especially with the equipment that were moving backwards and forwards late at night, the caravans pretending they were shooting. I don't know, I didn't get involved. They left a boat from Port Nolloth, which is always very, very suspect.
The production is called I've just got to break it, otherwise it's called Mask About Face.
Mask About Face.
It's
Mask About Face.
It's on at the Theatre on the Square.
Santon Theatre on the Square. Santon Theatre on the Square.
Which is on the Square in Santon. It's a very short run, March the 3rd to the 13th. Bookings are available now, are open already.
CompuTicket, or they can phone this number on their screens now and transfer the money into my
into your account,
which is G Nochamoffitz 814-415-4443, which is the offshore Capitec branch of Ham Golding Estates, which is a division of Investec, which is the front for the Capitec offshore branch.
Mark, what can I say? It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. When are we going on? When are we going live?
I'm not sure. This was live, Mark.
Okay.
You just didn't know that.
Now?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
We're supposed to talk about the show and comedy and tragedy.
No, there's no tragedy. There is no tragedy in a Mark Banks show. End of story.
No,
period.
There's not. There's not. And this is all new material, all new Mark Banks, and you can see this magnificent wig that they. Oh, sorry, I haven't put it on yet. So that's why I was trying to do that so you couldn't see.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you. Oh, were we live now? Have you recorded?
Yes.
Seriously?
In Conversation With is brought to you by Rugged Wear, real people, real clothing, real solutions. My guest today was Mark Banks. Mark, thank you as always for chatting with me. The show is called Mask About Face. It's on at the Theatre on the Square from March the 3rd to the 13th. Mark, you have a good run. Take care. Be safe. Bye for now.
Le poisson, enfin, au revoir, le Bankus, la comédie, le médecin, se veut le coveted, le suivant est là-bas.